Welcome to Living with Dr. Monica Shaw, where we discuss different ways of living our lives and finding fulfillment in a world that often pushes a single version of success, timeline, and identity. Living fully means honoring your truth, and charting our own path on a road less traveled can feel hard. Whether you've chosen a non-traditional life or life chose it for you, this show is here to support your journey and remind you that you're not alone. Our guest today is Ishita Mili, who has become a close friend in the last few years. We've talked life and creativity, we've done dance work together, and I've witnessed firsthand her journey into being a full-time, multidisciplinary artist, which has been amazing to see. Ishita Mili is a Bengali-American director, choreographer, and scientist. She founded Image Dance as a performance company based in dance, film, and music. Image has built bridges across concert, commercial, musical theater, academic, and independent arts industries through their distinct intersection between Indian and American classical to street styles. Ishita was awarded Artist of Exceptional Merit by the Asian American Arts Alliance, received a Folks Arts Apprentice Grant under the New Jersey State Council of the Arts, and taught the image methodology at Princeton University and Gonzaga University. She most recently completed the LabWorks 2024-2025 cohort at the New Victory Theater and received a 2025 Individual Arts Fellowship Award from the New Jersey State Council of the Arts. Ishita is also a deeply involved community advocate and activist. She is the founder of the South Asian American Arts Solidarity, the co-host of the South Asian Performing Arts Summit, and she is also the co-host of the Kinetic Dance Film Festival. Alongside her achievements in the arts world, Ishita holds a BS in chemistry and MBS with a concentration in drug discovery and development, and spent 5 years working in biotechnology. I'm excited to welcome you into the kinds of conversations that Ishita and I have, and for you to hear the thought-provoking perspectives and straight talk that she brings. Enjoy. So thank you for being here, Ishita. I really wanted to have you on because I know we've had conversations before about life, so many conversations about life. And I really think your story in particular is just so interesting and could be really helpful for people to hear more about. So yeah, welcome.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to talk to you about this.
Yeah, me too. So why don't we start by just sharing a little bit about your story?
Yeah.
And you can start wherever you'd like.
In this moment in time, I identify as a event and creative director, and a choreographer, and a artist. Other labels that also are tied to that are entrepreneur, a educator, and iconoclast, which is, I think, a newer word that means someone who challenges the way things are done. In my past, I was a scientist, and I think nowadays I'm embracing that I'm both a scientist and an artist at the same time.
Yes.
But a very, very long history in pursuing medicine, pursuing chemistry, pursuing biotechnology, business and development. And all of those like decades of life are still in my arsenal that I use in like ways I don't expect. So all to say unconventional and never makes sense.
Yeah, I love that because sometimes we feel like we have to choose some sort of label or category to put ourselves in, but truly you have had all of those experiences through your life. So they're all in you and they're all a part of you. So why wouldn't they come out? And how beautiful is it that they come out like that?
Yeah, I really reject late culture. Society really relies on them in ways that don't actually help understand your skill set or understand like all of who you are. Like it actually puts the box around your capabilities rather than allowing for a spectrum of possibilities. So I feel like no singular label can capture what I do or why, you know.
Yeah. I mean, in general, humans are so complex. And also, you've had so many different experiences in your life. I love that term, iconoclast, right? Because that's really what we're talking about here is moving and pushing against different boundaries and like, you know, ways of living that seem to be placed on us and that we also place on ourselves. I'm wondering if you can speak a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I was hardcore on a path of becoming a doctor dancer, like a coined term that everyone signed off on in my family and my life. Like, why would you not do that? As a doctor, you would get prestige and some sort of financial recognition and this really respectable job that's the highest of educational value while also being of extreme artistic value. And I come from a Bengali family. And so in my family, we were really raised with that. Whatever you do it to the best. And they did believe in the arts in their own way. So everyone was like super high up, doctor, business person, lawyer, and also a professional singer and professional artist. And so everyone had that training. Yeah, everyone had access to classical training, which a lot of families don't necessarily have that.
Right.
So it was really high pressure. Be the best, rise to the top, survival of the fittest, be smarter than everyone, be more hardworking than everyone, don't lift your eyes off the book, focus. And I think that led to unconventional ways of living from my family itself, because I'll give them so much credit that they did understand the value of art. My parents were very connected in some sense to like the value of art because it's present in our culture. But I think what I struggled to communicate was that I was a creator. I don't just dance with the people's work, but I see things that I need to make them happen. And and I felt like at that time when you go to school, it was just doctor, lawyer, engineer. Like I didn't even know that public health or like all these other things, and you didn't really have that kind of exposure. Even if you say the medical field, there's so many ways to actually be working in that field that are not just a doctor. So I was in an 8-year medical program, and then by the end of it, getting into the final like round of, I had finally gone into medical school and it got my acceptance letter, what every person dreams of. And then I got that letter in my stomach. I was going to vomit. And it's just like, I have no logic. I know that this makes the most sense for me to do. I understand that this is a path in front of me, but it just doesn't feel right. And then I risked everything. And then
What does that mean? You risked it?
I jumped off that path and I called my parents from the middle of Mumbai when it was like a dance program that was after my undergrad. And the agreement was that I would go to India for a couple of months and then I would go straight into medicine. And instead, I pivoted to a master's of business and science in a different like sort of program because I figured business would probably be helpful no matter what I do. And my parents helped guide that process. Like I have so much love for them. They really did the best with like what they knew and in their generation. Like that was the information that they were given on like how to succeed. And for me, it was less about, oh, I want to go be a professional dancer. Cause at that time, I didn't even know if I necessarily wanted that for the kind of dance that I do. There's not even options really that exist for that, right? But I just knew that I didn't want to be a doctor. I know I'm going down this route. I just know that I want a 180 that. I don't know where that's necessarily going to lead, but that was that risk, was that now I have no plan. Then I'll figure it out. I trust that I'll figure it out.
But I think that's the hard part for a lot of people, right? Is deviating from a path when there's not another one that they can see.
That's the construct of security, right? Security in the way that I was raised was knowing the next step, being able to calculate your next step. And the difficulty is in embracing the unknown, which I think that so many people, no matter whether you work corporate or like a normal job or however you want to categorize that right now, like everyone's getting laid off. Your years of relationships, your 9 to 5 is like suddenly thrown out.
Everything is uncertain. There is uncertainty really in anything. And we try to minimize the uncertainty to make ourselves feel better. But there's not really do that because it's uncertain.
Right. The way that I look at that is I think the natural order of things is chaos.
Yeah.
Like uncertainty is or that's the way of nature.
Yes.
So like all of these things to try to fight that, it's not realistic. That's actually not how life works.
Uncertainty is the rule.
That is the constant.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing else that you can like so predict. And you see my parents have just been through so much in life and they didn't want me to go through that. So they tried to calculate. They tried to like calculate the best, path of my success. From there, it was like slowly, okay, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm like getting seeds. I'm still like building. I'm just going to take my time and build my craft. So many different experiences came and then just like took every single thing one by one. Like 10 years ago, I couldn't possibly imagine that I would like build a methodology, built this company dancing on these kinds of platforms, and it's still changing. I don't know still what's going to happen in a couple months, but I really believe I'll figure it out. Okay. So all that schooling, I'm smart enough to adapt. That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
Because it's always going to be changing.
Yeah. Yeah. If uncertainty is the rule, then knowing that you will be able to shift and adapt and you'll figure it out. That's the part that is going to help you.
That's where the longevity is. You know what I mean? So now anything can happen, but I trust that I'll figure it out.
Yeah. Trust in yourself, right? Tell us a little bit more about any challenges that you've come across in embracing the uncertainty. These things they can be hard to take on, right? It's hard to do what's different. It's hard to walk a path that you don't see. So I'm curious about any challenges that you feel like you've experienced along this path and how you have moved through it.
I think like one of my biggest early obstacles was like my relationship to my elders and like those voodoo systems and like the pressures of like my ancestors, like that taking actions for others to feel safe, not really my own desire and self-belief, like to satisfy what other people needed out of me.
Right.
And like I went through that hurdle with my family. I went through that hurdle with all of my views. I go through that with the public and how like my work is perceived. I also went through that with working in like biotech sales and business development. And then was like forming a dance company at the same time. So like 5 years was working at 2 full-time jobs, really making sure one didn't know about the other because I was afraid the biotech world would think I was too much of an artist and the artist world would no one would take me serious. And so all of those things around perception, I think going through that in my family helped me deal with the rest. So I'm grateful that all of the hardships that have passed in my life and continue to surface in different ways. It feels like every single one builds like a different layer of armor that I need because like real world is so much harder on you. So I feel like when I was able to deal with that kind of conflict in my inner networks, I had the coping tools to deal with the rest. I've had people tell me that I would be like a rich husband. I've been told I'm not this enough or that enough, like my looks or whatever, I'm too masculine, I'm this or that, I'm not smart enough. Just, like I've been told everything.
Yeah, all the naysaying.
And something that I've learned in that is those things are not actually things that I need to take personally. They're usually reflections of like that person's fears and their insecurities that you're projecting onto me.
Yes.
And so once I was able to more deeply understand that, then I have been able to separate my actual understanding of myself to how that makes other people react, which is their problem, not mine. So all the shifts that happened in my life, that's my problem.
Yeah.
How that makes you feel, no matter where in my life you are, that's your problem.
That's a good point because I think that does happen a lot. People trying to show you how it could go wrong, but it's this projecting their own fears, maybe even insecurities onto you and what you're doing. Because if you're doing something different, well, then why are they not? Right? They're not doing it because, because it might not succeed. Have you considered this? Have you considered that? And so that's what it ends up being. It's really more their issues, it's their fears that they're projecting onto you.
And so I think ultimately the lesson is tuning out that noise to listen what your inner compass is telling you.
Right.
And I think I've gotten closer to that now. I've been thinking about how sometimes stress is something that you choose to do.
Say more about that.
I'm like choosing to not be stressed.
Yeah.
Cause like it's kind of a waste of time.
Right.
You just sit there and then you feel negative about X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
And I mean, nothing improves from that. I mean, stress can point you towards, okay, so what's stressing me out? How can I reduce that? And then do something.
What can I do with it?
But then just sitting in stress.
Yeah.
I was stressed.
Yes.
I was so stressed, Monica. I was stressed about the balance and the weight of the world. I was stressed about my career. I was stressed about how I was going to survive. I was stressed about my chemistry exam. I was stressed about traveling for my biotech jobs while managing my performance career.
Yeah.
I was stressed about how people were reacting and I was canceled on internet. Like, I'm perceived so intensely.
Yeah.
And then lately I've just been like, what if I just don't? Because like bad things will keep happening because that's the natural order of life, right?
Yeah.
What if I just like accept
Mm-hmm.
that that's going to happen
Yeah.
and therefore expect that it'll happen and therefore not stress about it because I know it'll happen and I'll make it through.
Right. You have the thing that's happening that's stressful. And then your reaction you're putting onto it elongates it, right? It makes it into its own monster, its own thing. Then you have to deal with that part. So, what would it be like if you could experience the thing that feels stressful, acknowledge, okay, I'm feeling stressed by this, and then move to what can I do about it?
Yeah. Like, how can I let it exit? What can I do to this to reduce? And I think that even if you try to pin it on someone else, that stress still is yours. You are in control of that reaction.
The reaction, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It's that same thing. If other people react to me, that's their reaction. That's a reflection of them.
Yeah.
And so that's been able to give me peace of mind. Right now in this moment, it's 2025 and all national dance funding got cut 2 years ago. There's a lot of things to be stressed about. There's a lot of uncertainty right now. A lot of the floor being ripped under the feet. But is stressing and do anything about it?
And can you distinguish between like, what does it look like to experience the stressful event versus stress about it?
Yeah. So stressful event is the, let's say, national dance fund. Super stressful. Companies losing 100K. How that affects me is that theaters that hire me, their funding is cut. So their programs or contracts with me are getting canceled. So I thought I had a really busy summer. Some of those bigger contracts got canceled. So that sucks, but I'll figure something else to do. I think how I'm able to practice like trust is that I feel like I've not put all of my eggs in like any basket. So I have my performance career, I have my teaching career, I have my like organizing side of my career, I have my consulting side. So if one thing kind of is sinking, I will just like lean into the other ones. Diversify. My whole thing is that I'm an artist, but I still within that, I'm actually able to diversify while fully embodying being an artist.
Yeah.
So that's where I'll figure it out. And me sitting here and stressing about that, like that is so out of my control.
Yeah. What I'm hearing there is it comes back to that point of trust that I will figure it out. I have faith in myself. And that's kind of what you need to lean into.
To acknowledge that the only thing that you can actually control in life is how you act.
Yes.
You actually can only control yourself.
You can't control situations. You can't control other people. External things are not for you to control. But what you can, I mean, coming from a psychologist, right? Like what you really do have that power over is your internal reaction. And not saying that's like, boom, easy necessarily, but it is something to work towards controlling when you can't control all the other things.
Yeah, I think this is how you survive. Yeah. I like find happiness. I watch my parents eat for happiness. After we do this, after we do that.
Yeah, and that's not uncommon, right? Like just I will enjoy life after I retire.
And I feel like they're really seeing the consequences of that because they don't know how to actually relax. You say self-care, and that's actually a thing you have to figure out how to do that for yourself. It's not that easy. Sitting and melting into the couch and watching Netflix isn't exactly going to be self-care, right?
Right. It can be for numbing out.
It can numb out. So how do you actually look at that nourishing?
Yes. Yeah,
So,
in a way that's rejuvenating.
and so I even see like dad, he can't not worry about other people, whether it's me, whether it's like brother. And it's so out of love.
Yeah.
It's what he knows.
Yeah.
And at the same time, I want him to be at peace.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's the same skills that we're like talking about. Right? He's stressed out. This is like our life to live right now.
Yeah.
And so I feel like some of my ability or desire to be able to think like this is because I'm watching the older generation struggle to find peace. And how do they want to age? You know, we talk about this a lot. How does numerical age actually relate to what your capacity is?
Yeah.
And, you know, it's so made up. You can do so much if you're able to arrive into a truly self-centered mindset, like centered, not selfish. Everything is in balance.
Yeah.
And
It's all like terminology too, right? Like, to care for yourself. Is that being selfish? Like, no.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I actually wanted to hear more about that transition that you made from more recently, the transition into being a full-time creative.
Yeah. So I was working for 5 years after I graduated my MBS program, and then I settled in with this small medium biotech based in Germany, and it was flexible. It was still full time, but allowed me to travel, and I could work weird hours. I had control over my own schedule.
Yeah.
And so I was able to build my company. And I was really happy with that balance in a sense. I didn't feel like I was totally beholden to the dance industry. And I had therefore agencies to say no to things that I didn't want to take or that didn't make me happy, which were not that many things. I had a really colorful performance career at the time, but what I was getting was certainly not enough to survive and not even consistently things that were like, oh, I want to do that particular experience again. It was very much in this trial error. So all to say that 2 full-time jobs era, though taxing time-wise and code switching-wise, served me pretty well because I had a lot of agency and choice at the same time.
That's what you needed at the time.
Yeah. So that all to say that balance really worked with the time that it did. I think that balance shifted when I started getting things in the dance world that I would have had to say no to because I couldn't balance anymore.
Right.
So balance shifted when I was ready for it. And then I felt ready for it. And then I felt supported to do that. Because that's the other thing about being an artist is getting support because it's just such a crazy career. And I feel like I was able to finally arrive to a place with my family where they were like, you've been hustling. You've been hustling. And all to like make this dance thing work. You're 28 now. Maybe you should just do it.
Yeah. Wow. And your family said that to you.
Yeah. You know, because they started to age and they're starting to realize what are we doing all this? Yeah. Like, why are we saving like this?
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something that's come up in my previous conversations. Having people around you doesn't have to be your parents, doesn't have to be your family, but having people around you that believe in this different kind of out of the norm path that you're considering.
I mean, it's hard to do it without that.
And you can find that in different ways. You can build that in different ways.
But I mean, I feel like I'm really blessed with a really robust network of people that I love that were able to guide me like through all these crazy things. And I owe a lot to that. I owe a lot to having the right people around. being able to distinguish my intuition and my people skills, to know what information to take in, what information to seek out, who to seek it out from. A lot of my relationships I've had for a really long time now. And so when I finally made the jump into being a full-time artist, it felt like if I don't do this now, I'll regret it forever. Because now suddenly the things are aligning that I need to seek this out. Was that a straight, smooth journey? No, I would say.
Yeah. So we talked about that when you were considering that shift. What was that decision like for you?
You know, I took a month sabbatical from my biotech job and I was building out my first real evening length show, No Man. Actually, that's at the seed of our relationships. You came and saw that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
And doing that and putting out a really large piece of work that was kind of like my manifesto. It was like almost like my thesis of my company that changed my life because then I really got to realize like what I'm capable of. And it brought everything to me because I put like everything into it.
Yeah. Yeah. And by actually putting that in, trying it without really knowing what was going to happen, that's what showed you what you were capable of, what it could be.
Expectation of, oh, I'm going to get this and this and this opportunity after this. And it's like, let me just put my all into making the best piece of art that I can with the scraps that I have. Like, I don't have much, but let me put my all into like making this the best thing that it can be. Yeah. And then soon after I got like a Broadway Bears contract, I got to like choreograph for this like Broadway show. And then I got an offer to teach at Princeton. I could have never predicted that.
Yeah.
And like things started just taking off from there. Then I was like, I have these things and I think it's time.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I can look back now. I think I need to say yes.
Yeah.
It's
amazing. Yeah.
And even after I took that leap, I mean, that first year, I would say every 2 months, I was like, this was a bad idea.
Right.
And then it was so often that by month, like 6, I was like, okay, I think I'm just going to feel this way. I think just every month or 2, I'm going to have this like week or something and I'm going to feel like total shit. And I'm just going to embrace that. I'm going to expect it. I'm just going to let it pass through and keep going.
Yeah, that's part of the experience.
And then a year later, I was like, wow, that feeling is like really not fun. And then I was back on LinkedIn, just kind of browsing. If I did go back to something, what would that look like? And then it passed. And then I kept going. Ultimately, I kept moving forward, right? And now it's been 2 years and I'm so glad I didn't look back. Like, I realize now I'm supposed to be on this path. I feel like I see now. I see now that like, I need to move forward.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Because in those years, of course, you're going to have doubts. Of course, it's going to be challenging. It's not like you make that decision and then everything's,
peachy.
Yeah, everything's smooth and no bumps. And I like that it sounds like you really just accepted, right? It was like a state of acceptance of, I will feel this way. I will doubt. It doesn't have to mean that I'm going to boot out of this path.
Yeah. And I think it took a lot of experiencing that to then accept, like, I chose this. This is my choice.
Yeah.
And I need to own it.
Yeah. I need to see it through.
I need to see it through. I cannot back down. I can pivot. I can diversify.
Yeah.
But I cannot back down.
Yeah.
And in other ways, I feel my scientist side coming out more now in this path. And now I feel more balanced than ever. It can feel like a past life is very much who I am and how I walk through the world and even through my work and my process. And I'm able to bring that back into my reality in a way that makes sense for me in the career choices that I want. So my research paper world, making dance work that is STEM related and climate related, and I'm able to pull from those research and knowledge bases that I already come from. And so it's all a part of you, So now I feel centered in the choices that I've made. And this will all keep shifting.
Well, I would love to hear also about some of the unexpected joys that you've experienced in making this shift.
Honestly, I think this feeling of being centered. And this is a little rough because I think I'm still experiencing it, but I do think I'm more spiritual now, and spiritual in a way where I feel like I'm understanding how things align beyond my control. I would have scoffed at even that sentence 2 years ago. And I don't know if there's something about being a full-time artist, embracing that reality that forces you to understand spirituality, because I can't explain it. It's just such a crazy life. And so you let go of any semblance of structure that anyone else has dictated for you, and you experience the flow of the world in a crazy way.
Yeah. Yeah. Just having that faith.
And if you asked me, where do your ideas come from? I feel like they just arrive and I'm listening. I'm not inventing. It feels like I'm just observing, and then it comes to me. And then I can choose to act on it or not.
Yeah.
And so my understanding of creative power and generation, just being so immersed in it, I feel this odd connection to like myself and like everything around me.
Yeah.
And otherwise I would have probably aligned as atheist. I don't know. It feels like things flow in their own natural order. And if I listen, whatever is for me will come to me.
And you would have scoffed at those ideas just a couple years ago.
Because now I'm seeing the fruits of trust and intuition and letting the natural order of life bring me whatever it needs me to experience. And that means the bad things that I experience are part of that natural order. So then therefore I don't stress about it because I know I need to experience it. And whatever I need to like take out of that. That sounds so happy, right? But like there's some crazy shit that happened. Okay, y'all. Like I'm not saying these bad things. They can knock you.
They're pretty bad. They're pretty bad. Yeah.
Freaking bad.
Yeah.
But it's so relieving to like just know you'll make it out.
Yeah.
Like I know I'll make it out of this, however, you know?
Yeah. It's like you've almost been like forced to start to embrace some of those ideas.
The word I'd say is surrender. Like it just feels so beyond my control.
Yeah.
It is. That's the natural order of things. I could feel myself moving in that direction, but I was resisting it for a long time. I was really relying on my family's upbringing of control, create the next step, plan. And there's some of that I like. I always believe in a plan B. I always think that you should map out the calculations, but don't let that like life.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be helpful.
Yeah.
And sometimes I really believe in making a plan so that you don't follow the plan.
That's interesting, right? Because there's a way to do both.
Yeah. I mean, you need to do the work.
Yeah.
You can't just sit around waiting for things to come to you, right? It does not work like that. Yeah, you plan, but then if things don't go in the way of the plan, which is like 99% of the time.
Yeah.
How do you react?
Yeah.
You know, sometimes the act of making a plan itself is just a helpful thing. Like even the act of just doing it, whether or not it will happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. It's like having a plan, but not being so attached to it. And how it needs to go like this.
Let go of it. Yeah, there's so much that's come out of like this journey. I invented a methodology and I'm still inventing it. Like, I didn't know that was going to happen when I quit.
Yeah.
In fact, it took another year to emerge and I started teaching. The whole education branch of what I do organically happened because I was just, for the sake of it, understanding my own creativity. And then the methodology just emerged from it. I'm like one intensive. I was like, let me see how this goes. And
just built.
And it just kept building.
Yeah.
Super slow.
Right. And you don't know those things until you start just trying.
Yeah. I started and I was like, I don't know what I'm talking about, but I do, but also I don't. But also who does? That's really says that they know what they're talking about. Like, don't trust you a little bit. Because you don't really know.
Everybody's kind of making it up.
We're all making it up. But I understand now how much this artist life, like I need all of my focus into it. There's so much to do. I'm a leader. I'm a director. I have people working under me now. And I was so split brain before. Right. But now I can have all of me in one place. And there's still parts of me that are, again, even the scientist part of my past.
Yeah, it's coming
into it. But that's, I think, where I feel centered. It's like I get to behold in all of who I am. Relieving. I was to come up with a word right now. It's relieving.
Yeah. I love that. So for people out there who might be thinking about a different path that seems, out of the norm, or maybe they're about to jump into something like with your med school decision where you decided, oh, this isn't me. This doesn't feel right. What would you say to them?
I think intuition and your relationship to your own intuition is your strongest tool. That's your compass. So when you have that feeling of something doesn't feel right, and developing that feeling more to let that point you in a direction, or at least point you in the other direction, I think that's your biggest sign. If you're able to trust your intuition, that's your compass.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of folks struggle with that.
Yeah. I mean, how do you even recognize what is your intuition and what isn't? What does that look like for you?
That is so meta. I wish there was like a recipe, but I think even paying attention how you internally react to something and then unpacking that. Why am I reacting out? Let's take the stress thing. So let's say feel stressed about a situation. Okay, that person is making me stressed. Go deeper, keep asking. Okay, what is it about? And why am I reacting this way? What is that telling me that I need to change? And unpacking what is a feeling actually guiding you towards somewhere in there as a relationship to intuition. When I got that med school letter, that acceptance letter, and I had that immediate pit to my stomach.
Yeah.
That was my intuition. Like my intuition knew for a long time that this is not right.
Yeah.
Not the right path.
Yeah. And you felt it in your body.
Your body tells you these signs. It is like trying to warn you. And when I was ready to turn away, I turned away. It took a while. I don't think it's very productive to be like, oh, I wish that happened or that I should have done that. I don't believe in that anymore. I used to really beat myself up about making the wrong decisions. Again, it's kind of like this stress thing of who does that benefit? You just beat yourself up for what? If you can't turn back time.
You can't change it.
Yeah. Conversation is literally useless.
Yeah.
The only thing it's helpful for is like, okay, next time I would do this.
Yes. Right. If you're willing to use it as an opportunity to learn.
Yeah.
Rather than just beat yourself up over it. And I mean, honestly, you don't really know how things would have turned out if you'd done something else. That's the thing. We look back on things and we think, oh, if I had done that, then I wouldn't be here. Or things would have turned out so differently. Like you don't actually know that.
Super naive to go down that route. Okay, I understand. I was like that.
No, yeah. I mean, a lot of people are.
That's where accepting is. You accept what happens. How you react to it that's where you have control, right?
Yeah.
And so I think intuition is something that's a learned skill for sure.
And being aware of your intuition, acting with it, because we do all have some
your gut feeling about something, right?
Yeah. As a psychologist, what I see my purpose as in those sessions is to help them connect with their intuition, connect with themselves, connect with what is it that really is you, It's not for me to tell you that. It's really to help you connect with your intuition. So I really do believe we all have that inside us. But the practiced skill is being able to hear it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so much of this is learning how to be a good listener
to yourself.
Yeah. Wish there was an easy roadmap. There's not.
There's not. And there's that other piece of pivoting and trusting that, okay, you know what? If I need to, I will shift. I will figure it out. Right. That's the other thing you're in control of now is the right now. You can't change what happened in the past. It's done. So what are you going to do now? Well, thank you so much. I love this discussion. I always love our discussions, and we will continue to have many more discussions. Well, yes. It's been so great to have you here. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Yeah. And if you want to connect with Ishita, how can people get in touch?
You can find me on Instagram at Ishita Mili, ISHITAMILI, and my dance company, Image Dance. That's an image without an A. It's an email and website and YouTube. Same thing. You'll find it.
Great. Thank you so much. It was so great talking to you.
Yes, we did it.
Thank you for joining us on Living with Dr. Monica Shaw, where we discuss different ways of living our lives and finding fulfillment in a world that often pushes one. I hope this series gives you more confidence in creating and living a life that fits you, not the mold. If you like what you heard and you're ready to feel seen, inspired, and supported in building your path, don't forget to hit subscribe. Your feedback helps us reach more listeners and grow a community of people who are redefining what living means together. So please share and leave us a rating or review. You can also watch on our YouTube channel at Dr. Monica Shaw and find episode notes and bonus content at www.drmonicashaw.com. Finally, follow me on Instagram at Dr. Monica Shaw for more inspiration and resources. Until next time, keep living your unique life, because no matter what path we're on, it's all just living, and there's more than one way to do it. In progress. You know, I just need to hear it.
Yeah,
It makes myself feel better. So for people who might be out there considering a different path, or maybe they're even walking a path that feels like kind of how you did, right? With the med school decision, like, this just doesn't necessarily feel like me. What kinds of things would you say to them? What would you offer them to just help them consider
Wait,
I know,
you
it's so
don't have
good.
to say more.
Yeah, yeah.
Just end it.
Okay. Okay. Can you do it one more time?